Hi guys, welcome to Doug's Shoe Bushcraft. Today we're going over a very easy mod to do to your Bushcraft or survival knife. It'll give it a lot more capability, and there's some trade-offs too. Be talking about that so you can decide whether or not to do this mod to your knife. I've got a ferro rod. Here's my dispatch knives, Bushcraft backup as I'm calling it, with the simple modification, the sharp 90-degree spine modification. Try not to melt the lens. I think you can see those. Alright. This is another Bushcraft backup. You can see it's a different color handle. Just factory stock, no modification. And it's not just dispatch knives. Most factory knives, you buy them and this is how they are. And there's a reason for that. We'll get into that in a minute. But again, here's the modification. It's like fireworks. And there's more utility for the sharp 90-degree spine. Give me a minute. Alright, we've got the same model and knife, just different colors on the handle. This one's brand new out of the box. This one's a couple weeks old. Been using it and abusing it, started modifying it. And it throws gobs of sparks with my mod. So why doesn't this one have a sharp 90-degree spine right from the factory? And most knives don't. You can find some, but kind of rare. That's because there's a trade-off. A lot of knives will have like a thumb ramp there. This one kind of has it on the handle, you can see. But a lot of times, a lot of different tasks, I'd be resting my thumb there. So if I sharpen the spine, then it'll be less comfortable. With a lot of use, someone without calluses or tough hands, you might feel some sharpness. I've never been cut, but I think I got really thick skin and calluses, but I don't think it's a cut you sharp, just an uncomfortable to a lot of people. So most of the factories, on almost all their knives, they round it. But with a simple mod, you make this a sharp 90-degree. Now you can use the spine of the knife to throw sparks, a lot of sparks, off a ferro rod. Without the mod, you could use the blade, but then you're dull on your blade, right? You could do that in an emergency. But I'd rather be prepared in an emergency to use the back of the knife, right? And it has more utility than that if I make the sharp 90-degree spine. Then that becomes another edge, really. Not a knife sharp edge, but like a scraper edge. Can you see like the really fine shavings I'm making? Like when you make a feather stick, only very fine, catch a spark very easily, which again goes along with your ferro rod. Okay, so I'll be mentioning two pieces of gear, get one or the other to make this simple mod. This is the first one. It's the Gordon 4-sided diamond hone block. It's available at Harbor Freight for 12 bucks. 4-sided because there's 4 different grits. The coarsest being 200, and there's 300, 400, and the finest would be your 600. Comes with the holder. So in order to make this mod to sharpen your spine to 90 degrees sharp, you just hold it by hand. It's no sort of jig or anything. You just try to hold it at 90 degrees as best you can. Might start with the coarsest grit. And that can remove a lot of material. You could use a conventional like sharpening stone, but in order to make this kind of mod you might really use up your stone. It might take a while, but you can do it very, very quickly with this. Or there's another option. This is the Smith Diamond knife sharpener. It's available right now at Walmart, I think, for around $19, or Lowe's for $20. Other places. Of course, the one they have in stock now is a different color. Instead of a gray, I think it's a yellow, but I believe it's the same thing. And it stores in its own handle. And there's a fine and a coarse side. So again, to sharpen the spine, I just try to hold it at 90 degrees the best I can on the coarse, and there you go. As far as these two pieces of gear, the Harbor Freight is excellent for chisels, hatchets, tomahawks, things like that. But in my opinion, even on the finest grit, I think it goes up to 600. Even on the so-called finest grit, it still feels a little bit coarse to me. I experimented with this, with changing the angle of the final edge, and it's leaving it a little bit coarse for me. So then with the Smiths, I forget what their fine grit is. I think it's 720, something like that maybe, but just seemed a lot better final edge. So if you're going to buy one of the two for sharpening knives, like the main edge, not just the secondary scraper edge or whatever you want to call it, but if you're going to use it for the edge of your knife, I'd say this is a better choice for that. But for all the different uses, like with axes and things, this is more convenient, because see how there's nothing in my way? With this, it has this nice handle, but if I'm sharpening something like a hatchet, I feel like this is in the way. Of course, I could hold the hatchet head and go like that, but this just seems better for the larger task. So anyway, those two pieces of gear, the Gordon is 12 bucks about, and the Smiths is around 19. And let's see if we can make some shavings and then hit a ferro rod, have it burst into flame. So that experiment proves it to me. It is a very practical mod. Another thing to think about, downside in a lot of people's minds would be it changes the appearance of the knife. If I put this on a diamond stone, I'm removing the finish. This is what I'd call a satin finish, so it's not all that obvious. You can tell, look at it closely, I suppose. But then with this black oxide blade, in order to make this modification, I'd have to go through that finish down to silver, and I'd want to expose some on this side too, on the edge, because that would be my scraper edge. So whether or not you'd want to do that It's up to you, but something to think about. I don't mind a working knife looking like it's been used. The sheaths on these knives have holes, and holes I found are the perfect size of 550 paracord. So I wrapped some paracord around it, and now I can lash the sheath to things. Also, it's good to have cordage, even a small amount like that. And while I was at it, I attached that ferro rod. Most of the ferro rods have some sort of lanyard hole, right? So now if I have my knife with me, of course I have the knife edge, but then I have the scraper edge on the back side. Got a little bit of cordage, got a way to make fire. Excellent. So the links will be in the description where to get all this gear. And additionally, Dispatch is giving our viewers a discount, 30% off. So regular price of one of these knives is $19.99. Your price $13.99. For a limited time. They told me a total of 90 days. We're well into it now, but I believe it's still good, and personally I think it's a good deal. It's starting to rain again, of course, but before I sign off, I'd just like to say thank you very much to Dispatch Knives for sending me those knives to review, and I thank you guys for joining me. And I'll be back next Thursday, 8 p.m. Another video. See you then. Let us examine our ways and test them, and let us return to the Lord. Lamentations 3:40.